We like to do the old origin story with all our guests. Tell us about how you got started. You obviously come from a famous family. How young were you when you started racing? Give us the details.
I think I might have been about 6 years old when I started. My brother had gotten my dad got my brother into racing, and he was selling one of my brother's race cars, and I had pulled the for sale sign off of it. I let him know that it was my car and I wanted to race. And
That's awesome.
that went onward for a while. He didn't want me to race. And then finally he said, with my persistence, he knew it would be something that I would stick with. So he finally let me start racing. And not long after, he ended with racing himself and just focused on my brother.
All right, call me an idiot. I didn't even know you had a brother. What's your brother's name?
My brother's name is Alex.
Is he older or younger than you?
He's 5 years older.
Okay. That's like me and my sister.
So what kind of car was this? Was it like a quarter midget or something? Or
Yeah, we ran quarter midgets down at Little T Speedway. And
So that's all that your brother raced was the quarter midgets?
yeah, we got him into a street stock a couple times at Stafford,
Yeah.
but he usually just helps me out.
Yeah. Okay. So quarter midgets, how long did you race there?
Up until I was probably about 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to like Silver City or anything, or you just stayed at Thompson?
We went to Oswego in Syracuse.
Oh, wow, really?
We would do the nationals out there. And then probably my first year or second year, we went to Mini Indy. And back when we did it, it was at the big track. It wasn't in a parking lot. So that was pretty cool to do that one.
So when did you make the switch to, did you go right to street stocks when you were 16?
I was 15.
Oh,
I went
yeah?
to Limited Sportsman's at Thompson.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
What do you like better, by the way, Thompson or Stafford? Do you have a preference?
I like the environment at Stafford and that there's a lot of competition there.
Yeah, for sure.
When I raced Limited Sportsman's, there was a lot of competition there for that. But I don't know.
there was a lot of Thompson for her too.
Yeah.
Back then, the division was stout.
And don't ask me about a championship.
Okay. We'll leave that alone.
Very close, so many times.
Yeah.
Coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, they just.
Coming out of turn 4, the last race?
Yeah. Yep. It was the last race, the last lap coming out of turn 4. And the person behind me never lifted because he wanted a win, even though the leader had already crossed the start-finish line. And, yeah, we lost it by that much.
Wow.
And it wasn't even just that. We lost the national championship. It was the last year with NASCAR.
Yep.
So I lost that by just a couple points.
Wow.
Oh, that was a heartbreaker then.
Oh, yeah.
I think I remember that now that you're saying that. That was your last year, right? Because then you went to SK Lights after that, didn't you?
Yep, we did. I think the last race we actually just I don't know that it was even points. So I think we just ran the SK Light the last race at Stafford because we were just all set with it.
Yeah. Well, talk about going from quarter midgets to streeters. What was that like?
It was pretty fun. I mean, we started right at Thompson. We kind of just did that. I think we did like maybe 2 or 3 races at Stafford that year, and we did pretty good. I think we finished top 10 every race that we did our first year in street stocks. And from there, we started racing both Stafford and Thompson, and then finally just ended up at Stafford instead.
Yeah.
So during this time, who is, because your family's like all modified people. Now you got a taxi cab in the garage. Who's doing the work on them?
At that time, it was my Uncle Jimmy and my father. So
They were real knowledgeable, or were they learning this whole, because I know when I stepped back, it was almost trying to retrain your brain again because it's so different than an open wheel car.
no, they were pretty knowledgeable, and my Uncle Jimmy was really good with it. We had a really good car every year, but we had 2, so we had one for each track, and it was in my dad's car wash bay, and they would set it up every single week. So
Really?
yep.
Oh, that's really cool.
Let's talk a little bit about just like, we were talking about this before we jumped on the mics about Keith and just how big his operation is. Just talk a little bit about Keith and, how he is able to So, like, is there ever a time when you're like, oh, I really need to talk to Keith, but he's over with Corner and now he's over at Hubby and like I can't find him, or like, is he always available, even though he has a gazillion things going on? Just like that dynamic with him.
I mean, he has a lot going on. He has a lot of cars, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's times where like, oh, where's Keith? Like, we need to talk to him, but it's never been to a point where we can't find him, like, before we go out again.
Yeah.
We're always able to find him, and he makes a stop, like, at our car. Oh, hey, how is the car? Like, right before he gets in to go out for practice, he'll come over. Oh, hey, how was your car during the first round? Like, and then afterwards we'll talk about, oh, what do we think we should do? And so he's always really good about getting to everybody and being available.
He is fascinating to watch. You
It's
ever just like
amazing,
watch him in the
dude.
pits, like just how he bounces around from and you know it's not like he's carrying around a notepad and he says, oh, okay, so let's see with Meg's car. It's like they converse. He gives him his advice. He goes over to Bob Charland, talks to him. Does like goes over, talks to Hubby. I realize they're all his cars, they're his setup, but it's just you're all giving him different feedback. You all had different heat races, different things in practice. It's just
How much of the same do you think all the cars are in KRR? I mean, as far as like setups and stuff, do you think they're all the same? Do you guys ever discuss that? Like, hey, what's Hovey doing or what's Charland doing? Or do you guys do that or no?
I mean, personally, I don't really like I don't talk to Hovey. I don't know what's in his car.
Yeah.
And
But you must talk to Keith because he sets it up, right? So does he ever say, listen, we're doing this with Hovey's car. You want to try it? Or does that kind of stuff happen? Or whether it's Charland or any of those guys?
No, I really don't think we've ever come across that. I don't think we've ever come across, oh, hey, we're doing this with this person's car. Do you want to try it? But I mean, like, I don't know if he's done that with somebody else. Like, hey, I'm going to try this in Meg's car.
Right.
Do you want to try it too? I mean, like, obviously, like, we've tried new things in our car. I mean, but I don't know if he's asking other people.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of his thing. That's what we pay him to do.
Yeah, right.
I find it fascinating. Like when I see your dad and Keith talking, it's just like, damn, the amount of wins between that in that
it's crazy.
conversation. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Do you guys ever make changes yourself and just go at it? Or do you guys always consult with Keith or?
No, we consult with Keith.
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, whatever we're thinking, we always go and we talk to Keith first, and he'll be like, oh yeah, I think that's a good idea, or hey, maybe we should try this. But I feel like overall, we usually go with what Keith says because, I mean, he's the one setting up the car every week. So, I mean, he knows best. And a lot of the things, like, my dad will think one thing, and it's, like, so different now from, like, what he used to do to his cars. Like, the adjustments that he would make might not work on the cars nowadays.
So what is the what do you have? Are you just taking it year by year? Like, do you have an ultimate goal? Do you want to get somewhere with your racing career eventually?
I'm really just taking it year by year, and I don't know. I mean, like, we don't necessarily, like, have specific plans to move up, but I mean, racing in general is kind of a money sport. Like, yeah, you need talent, but you need the money to go places.
100%, right.